Hello, this is Lalit from A.P.S.M College Barauni. Today is the starting of chapter Memory and Forgetting, and in this series we are going to discuss about all the memory and forgetting, like the introduction, the types of memory, forgetting, what causes forgetting, and how we can stop the forgetting. It means how we can enhance our memory. But in today's today's lecture, we are limiting our focus on one thing, that is memory, its introduction and its stages. Okay, so what is memory? We all know how it feels when we forget somebody's name, especially whose name, about whom we are talking with our friends, our relatives and our family members. And you must have experienced the hardship of forgetting the right answer at the time of writing in examination hall, and that answer we have just prepared the last night. Just remember how embarrassing it was when you just forgot the name of file or the task at hand about which your boss kept you reminding from weeks or even months. It must be terrible, and I'm sure that unfortunately it might have costed somebody's job also. Now I'm inviting you to just imagine one morning you get up and you forget your name, your father's name, your relative's name, your spouse's name, your address, your qualifications, your aims in life, your purpose in life, and your job of your life. What are you doing? What do you do? And in this way, your whole identity is at stake. Actually it got lost. So then what would be your life? Actually in that case we cannot imagine about the life. There would be no life at all, because we can't imagine the life without memory. Oh, can we survive in this situation? At that type of situation? No. A big no. But at the same time, it makes us wondering, it makes us wonder, surprise, and intrigue us when we see somebody recalling his life's vivid experiences, vivid instances of his life, vivid events of the life, and he presents it very beautifully without even efforts, without doing any efforts. So this question always arises in my mind, and I'm sure it also arises in your mind, that what is the process of memory, how it is developed in our mind, and why we forget something and we don't forget some another thing. So these all are things. And one thing I would also like to add, that is whether it can be improved, whether the memory can be improved, and if, then what is the process, what are the methods about by which we can improve our memory, and we can stop the process of forgetting up to some extent. So we are going to discuss all things in this series of memory and forgetting, and I'm sure it will make you very joyful. You will find it very interesting, and but the mood question remains unanswered, that what is memory? Actually, memory is a human faculty by which we take information in, process it and store it, and again whenever it requires, we retrieve the same information from our memory. So we use the information and knowledge stored in our memory in all activities of our life. Whether we are trying to perceive or recognize someone or something, or when we talk with somebody, when we make decisions, when we are solving problems in our life, and even in a simple act of idle thinking, that is also called daydreaming. And I'm sure we all are just indulge ourselves sometime in our day-to-day life. Now come on the point that about the stages in memory. How many stages are in memory? What are the stages of memory? So there are 3 stages in memory. First one is encoding, the second one is storage, and the third one is retrieval. What the encoding refers? What does it mean by encoding? Encoding means when we see something, when we hear something, when we touch something, some information we receive, and the information get registered and recorded in our memory system so that it can be processed further. And this recording and registering of the information is called encoding. Okay. The second stage is storage. What does it mean by storage? Storage means the same information that we have received, registered or recorded in our memory system, we store it for some time, for some period of time, so that whenever we require, we can retrieve it. The third stage is retrieval after storage. Whenever we require the information or the knowledge, the facts that we have learned and stored in our memory system, if we are able to retrieve the same information, then it will be the retrieval stage. I want you to understand this all 3 stages by a simple example. Suppose you are watching this video and the information going into your mind. Okay, so this is the first stage, that is encoding. You are just encoding the information which are going from this video to your mind. And the second stage starts when you think about your experiences in life, about the memory, about the forgetting that you have experienced, and you correlate those experiences with this lesson, with this lecture. Then it becomes processed as you have correlated both things, and in this way it gets stored in your memory system. And third stage occurred when you will appear in examination, and you will successfully able to retrieve the same information, the same facts that I am telling you, I am describing you, and you have successfully retrieved the information, facts, and you wrote. Okay, so then these are the examples by which I am sure you must be understood. Okay, and here is interesting to note that failure in memory, that is also called forgetting, is caused by these all 3 stages of memory. Whether we faced some problem, some issue in first stage, that was the encoding, or in storage, or in the retrieval stage, we are just going to forget something. Okay, so these are all things about the introduction on introduction and stage of memory. In the next class, next lesson, we are going to discuss types of memory. Okay.